Well, greetings, everybody. If anybody's here yet, gotta wait a little while sometimes for people to join. So you always wonder, should you say a lot of stuff before people get here or what? But anyway, yeah, we see now they're coming. Okay, folks. Well, anyway, this is another live stream. Don't like having to feel kind of soft spoken, but I'm at the classroom here, of course. And I was told when I came here this morning that I might not want to use this room today because there are going to be classes in the adjoining rooms. So there are going to be people on this side. You're going to hear them. These walls, I don't know, these are all cinder block kind of school walls, but however these things are made, you can hear voices. Okay, you can hear people coming through, and I can see out right in front of me. There's a room across the hall, and they're in there, doing their thing. So anyway, why am I saying this? Because I think there's a potential for this to be a very interesting live stream in the sense that I may get interrupted. I may have to talk to people and say, "Oh yeah, well I'm in here." That's what happens when you do this Sunday mornings at this place. So today's a beautiful, gorgeous day. I don't know if you can get a whiff of that. You don't really see can't really see the trees. So this is a shade here. I don't know if that does any good, but it's really nice out there. Yeah, and I shouldn't have touched this one. No, I upset it. There it is. Anyway, so I don't know what's going to happen here in this classroom today, but we started out the day, of course. I made a rant video already, but when I say I made a rant video, I mean I made a short video. It's a short 45-second video. I ordered breakfast up here. Well, ordered breakfast. I went out to a deli and I got an egg sandwich, fried eggs on a roll with ham and cheese. And I asked to have ketchup because I have to have ketchup on my eggs, folks. I have to. And of course, you know how much ketchup they gave me? Zilch, none, zero, nada. So of course, we start the day off with that. You got to eat a dry egg sandwich. Hey, most people don't like ketchup on their eggs. I do. So this was really, a good start to typical, incompetence in the 21st century. And now I'm here, and we see what fun and surprises await me here because they told me, oh, there's another hallway. There's classrooms in this other hallway you can try out today. So I went into this other hallway, and there were no usable classrooms. Of course, there were no usable classrooms in that other hallway. That's why this hallway is the one everybody has classes in, because this is the one that's most serviceable. All right. So hello to people who were here, people like Peter Boothroyd and Woodland Goblin and Astro Zombie and Darren Gamble. And Mike, let me see. Mike Wall Jasper. It's a new name on me. So anyway, yeah, so as you see, I've been doing the last couple of weekly live streams here on a Sunday. Well, this coming Saturday, I'm going to do another one. It's going to be back at home. Okay. So Saturday the 23rd, for all you people listening right now, Saturday the 23rd will be the next one of these Catch Up with Mayo live streams. It will be done at 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern, back in my Beatles room where I'm comfortable. So Mystery Train says it could have been worse. Starbucks in Missouri had interesting incident. Could you tell me what this interesting incident at Starbucks is? Because I hadn't heard anything. Hello, Penny Lane. Penny Lane's here. Penny Lane, as usual. You are in my ears, Penny Lane. You know that. You are in my eyes. You know that. Do you think the incompetence is more laziness and lack of drive? I don't know. I think people are addicted to their phones, addicted to the internet. People are not thinking anymore. I don't know. I don't know, but it's definitely an epidemic of this going on. It's a definite trend and a, a, definite thing that happens now. Hello to Ronald Ewing. Whoops, what did I just do here? Oh, I don't know. Nope, this isn't the right place to discuss. Yes, somebody just tried to get in the door and they gave me a little wave, like, you see, I'm in here. Yeah, you're right, I'm in here. James, I have not heard anything more about the Red and the Blue remixes. I'm so fed up with it. I don't even care anymore. It's so annoying. I think it's funny. People are out there, making videos. Oh, well, one guy, my good friend, my good dear friend, Matthew Street, and hi, Matt. But he's over there. They're coming, folks. They're coming. Look, you know what? When they come, they come. When the news comes out, I'll tell you. Maybe the news will be, who knows, tomorrow or the day after that or the week after that, and I'll let you know. Hello, Mr. Blood Vessel. Oh. So anyway, what's going on? What's on your so-called minds out there? Huh? Because looking to chat about stuff. I've got at least 90 minutes to kill, if not a little longer. So could have a little 90 minutes or longer here. So Robin, hello, asked me, have you ever had total Beatles burnout and didn't care to follow them anymore? I won't say I've ever gotten to the point where I didn't want to follow them anymore, but I definitely have had Beatles burnout, only to the point where I don't want to listen to them all the time. I say that all the time. I don't really care to listen to them constantly because then you do get tired of them. They don't have a very big catalog, and that's the reason why I like to listen to solo Beatles music a lot. But never not following them. Never that no, I've never not wanted to follow them, so to speak. That's never happened. Um, I was listening to Breakfast with the Beatles on the way up here again, the Ken Dashow show. And as usual, I joked around with myself. I said, well, I wonder what the heck they're going to play. I wonder what Paul's song he's going to start with. And I said to myself, I'll bet you he's going to start off with playing Good Day Sunshine. And so I'm waiting for him to start the show. And he did not play Good Day Sunshine. I was surprised. I don't know why. I thought typical sunny day, that's the kind of fluff that he's going to start with. So instead, he played A Taste of Honey. I actually don't mind A Taste of Honey. I like it, I like it. But it's Paul. It's another Paul vocal. So I said, well, of course he starts with Paul. Guess what the second song was? Does anybody want to take a guess what the second song was that he played? Who's listening or listening to me right now? I'll give you a little bit of time, a guess or two, if you'd like. If you don't, I'll tell you. Um, so, okay, no guesses. Come on. Okay, there's a guess. No, it wasn't back in the USSR. Nope. One more, two guesses. Hey Jude. Nope. Good guess. Good guess. Nope. Think about what I was saying just a couple of minutes ago. Maybe you'll know if you remember, that is. One more guess, then I'm off. Da-da, da-da. I know this is one, though. This is riveting television. Okay. The answer is the second song he played after A Taste of Honey was Good Day Sunshine. The same song that I expected him to start with. So he tricked me. He didn't play it first, but he played that damn thing second. I like Good Day Sunshine. I like it. It's la di da. The piano, but it's so sappy. Can't you play John doing Cry Baby Cry? Or Sexy Sadie or something? Play something like a little biting. No, he didn't. What was the third song that Ken Dashow played today? More positive optimism from Paul. We can work it out. We can work it out. You know. And then they went to a commercial after that. And when they came back, we heard "Don't Let Me Down." Oh, what did he lose a bet? Ken Dashow, did you lose a bet? Did you have to play a John song? No. What happened was somebody called in and requested, you know, to hear "Don't Let Me Down." So there you go. Will the Beatles' Red and Blue albums get pitch corrected? I don't really know what exactly what you mean. I mean, a lot of times I listen to certain Beatles songs and I think they're slightly fast, to tell you the truth. Some of the early stuff. I thought when they did the 1987 CDs of the Beatles stuff, I thought it was kind of a little too quick. You know, I have a pitch control. I like to have a turntable with a pitch control where you can turn it slower or faster, and I usually will turn it a little slower. That's usually what I do. And look at Woodland Goblin. Great way to start the day. Yeah, with a little Sissy McCartney. Good day, sunshine. How about John Lennon? Good morning, good morning. A little more biting. No, of course not. We're going to start with Polly, Polly. And again, is this a time where I say I like Paul McCartney? I like Paul McCartney, greatest songwriter of all time, most talented of the four Beatles, most talented. But sometimes you just look, come on, Paul, you're such a softie. It's always the same thing all the time. A lot of people feel that way about Paul's granny music. That said, for people that don't listen to me a lot, I love Paul's granny music. I love When I'm 64. I love Your Mother Should Know. But after a while, you're like, all right, come on, let's hear something biting, man. Something with some teeth. And that's how I always feel about that. So, all right. What started this? Were you listening to the Beatles Sirius channel or something? No, I listened to Breakfast with the Beatles on Q104. It's a FM station, and they have Breakfast with the Beatles every Sunday from 8 to 10. Really more like 8 to 9:45. What's that about, too? If you have a show that starts at 8 o'clock and you're supposed to be 8 to 10, why do you stop at 9:45? But anyway, yeah. Maxwell Silverhammer, yeah, Maxwell Silverhammer is another example of that. Yeah. Yeah, well, trying to be honest, what can I say? What can I say? What can I say, Astro Zombie? He says, imagine if Paul, well, I'm not going to highlight it, clicked on live, as soon as I said that. Well, as I said, I hope he clicked on what I said. I think he's the most talented Beatle. I think he's the greatest songwriter of all time. Paul. And even though I'm a John guy, Paul is the most talented. Best musician in the group. I always have to say that because a lot of people, if I criticize Paul in any way, they think you don't like him or you don't give him his props. I do. I don't know. I really have a problem with the fact that it's become the Beatles has become a Paul McCartney thing. It's Paul McCartney and three other guys, and I really got a problem with that. And everybody should have a problem with that. When I was growing up, in the 70s mostly, 70s and 80s, it was the Beatles. It was four guys, and then when John got murdered, of course. Because he died and was shot to death and was a martyr, it became John. John was the main cheese, and I always said that's not right either. I don't appreciate that. It's not. It's the Beatles. It's four guys. With John and Paul on an equal level. But now, since Paul has started, when he started touring again and putting his Flowers in the Dirt album out in '89 and '90, he now owns the Beatles mantle. It is all Paul all the time. People are writing books. I'm not going to name names right now, but I was watching a young man, very young man, who actually has a book out. He was interviewed at it's all Paul for him too. It's like, because he grew up at a time, his first album was Flaming Pie, he said. And that was his first album. And okay, good for him. But, John had already been dead how many years when Flaming Pie came out? 17 years? It's a shame. It's a damn shame. Martin McGrath says anyone who thinks that it's Paul and three other guys should listen to Wings. They will soon realize that's not the case. Well, Wings is great, so sorry about it. We disagree on that, if that's what you mean. I got you, Astro Zombie. Let's see, what do we got here? Love Paul's granny music. For every one I'm 64, you get a Jet or a Junior's Farm variety. Yeah, but still, like I said, I prefer Jet and Junior's Farm. Absolutely. But sometimes on some of the albums, it's not the case, really. You But sorry about the hand here, folks. I got to do it. Would I like to see Anthology reissue the albums and DVD? No, I don't care about that. No, I really don't need it. I'm being honest with you. You know, I don't need that. If they do it, they do it, and I'll make the best of it and maybe buy it and rebuy it. But it's not on my favorite list. Philip says something's a cool idea. I wish the Beatles would release all the outtakes and sessions of their albums, like the Elvis FTD albums. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to see them do Beatles releases like the Elvis FTD series, like the Bob Dylan bootleg series. I'd like to see that. And I'm with you, Penny Lane. I also love the song Jet. I love it. My favorite song off Band on the Run, probably. Anytime I hear Jet on the radio, I'm really like taken in. I just love it. And of course, it also reminds me of being a kid. I mean, because I was like 12 years old when Jet was a hit song played on the radio all the time. So I got good memories of that as well. So I'll be mentioning off and on, in case you're just joining me, next week's show, or it's really this week still. The next show I'm going to do is going to be Saturday the 23rd. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So be there. 3 p.m. Eastern this Saturday the 23rd. And you know where I'm going Saturday night after that? To see Peter Noon of Hermit's Hermits for the first time. I'm going to get a chance to see him. Well, I've had a chance. I've had my chances. I just never have. This time I'm going to go. It's going to be Westbury Music Fair. They used to call it Westbury Music Fair. They don't anymore. But it's really a good place to see a concert. Yes, I also love the Venus and Mars rock show. Yeah, the whole intro, Venus and Mars rock show jet. Yes. Would my almost overplayed radio songs list be any different today compared to the video I made years ago? Yeah, I made a video which I enjoyed. The most overplayed radio songs that drive me crazy. I think I missed a few songs. Well, I think it would be a little different. I thought of revisiting that, doing that again. I thought of it. Okay, what songs do I hope to hear Peter Noon play? Well, all the Hermit's biggest hits. I can't even think of them all. I'm Henry the Eighth. I am Henry. I'm Henry the Eighth. I am. Can't you hear my heart beat? No milk today. A must to avoid. Uh, just a little bit better. All the biggies. Listen, people, maybe. I think there's so many. David says, I saw on the internet they're going to release all cover songs from the Red album. We'll see. A lot of rumors out there, and I'm trying to stay away from them. If you notice, I did very few videos where I talked about a lot of gossip of this. I think I made one. I made one, a couple about the new song. When the new song was announced, they were going to do it. I made that. I think I made one video, just one video, saying that there's a possibility that the Red and the Blue albums are coming. You say Venus and Mars song about John? I don't know what you mean. There's a thread, overplayed songs you still love. Well, there's some of them. I mean, I still love them all, but you just get tired of hearing the same songs all the time. And sometimes it can have the effect of you not loving them anymore. Unfortunately, it can happen, I suppose. I also mentioned you might notice I'm wearing it's like a sweat jacket with a hood. You know why? Because it's cold. Because the cold weather's coming in. Because it's fall. Well, I really don't mind fall. I can take September and October. It's November through March I don't really like. But right away, when I was listening to Ken Dashow's Breakfast with the Beatles, he's talking about football. He's talking about this and he's and that, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about football. I don't want to hear others talking constantly about football in my ears. So you're gonna hear football talk. It's gonna be cold in the morning. You got to put a jacket on instead of just throwing a t-shirt on and leaving. We're back to this. Yeah, I dread the cold weather too, but it's not really here yet. I hear that where I live, this week coming up is going to be a nice week, actually, pretty much. And the temperatures are going to be in the 70s. We have the other classroom joining us now, so just so you know, if you hear anything, I apologize. Can't help that. Anybody hear that? Let me know. A good friend of mine, here we go. Martin, let me make something perfectly clear. A lot of people like to think they have theories that a song is about this person or that person based on lyrics and their interpretation. Just because you think that doesn't mean it's true. If the Beatles have not confirmed what their song's about, there's not necessarily a fact in it. You say there's a line, a good friend of mine studies the stars. So around this time, John wouldn't sign a contract to end the Beatles contract because the star signs were not right. Now, I don't think Paul gives that much thought into some of his lyrics. I don't think he's thinking of John when he says that. Yeah, Hotel California is a tough one because Hotel California is such a great song, but my God, that has to be the most overplayed song ever. Wow, you hear that? You hear that? This is the kind of stuff you got to deal with. I've heard that Peter Noon puts on a good show. One of the things I'm wondering about is whether or not I should bring something to be signed by him. The problem with that is I don't want to carry a record album around with me all day, but maybe I will. Maybe I will, just in case. Okay, if you like the Beatles at the BBC Volume 1 and 2, then you will enjoy On the Air, the Rolling Stones on the BBC. But I'm really getting, I've always liked the Rolling Stones, but I'm starting to enjoy them a lot more lately, for what that's worth. Bring a 45 sleeve. I thought of that too. That's a lot easier to bring. But we have to make sure it doesn't get bent, you know. Fleetwood Mac Rumors, most overplayed and overbought. Fleetwood Mac Rumors is overplayed. Obviously, songs like Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, those are played a lot. And song Dreams, but I'm not tired of Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. I love it. I mean, I love it. I still haven't tired of it. Okay, you say when I saw Peter Noon, everyone had something to sign. It's a good idea. I'm going to do that. I had an opportunity to see Peter Noon at the Fest for Beatles fans, actually. I think it was 2013 or thereabouts, 10 years ago, but I couldn't make that particular fest. So I had to miss him, which I really regret. How do I feel about the Stones album, the Satanic Majesty Request? Does it come off as a weak Sergeant Pepper clone? Yes, it does. I mean, I like a few songs off it, but it's not a consistent album for me, and it's okay, but it's an okay album. What's my favorite Beatles trivia? I don't know where to go with that question. What are my feelings about Gary Brooker? Think you mean from Procol Harum? I don't have much to go on. I like Gary Brooker overall. Some Procol Harum stuff. You know, and he was good at the concert for George too. He sang "Old Brown Shoe" concert for George Harrison. So, how are you? How are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. Does anybody hear that? I don't know. I just wish one day a person would say, "How are you?" and somebody would say, "Oh, I'm not doing too good. I got a nasty backache. My back's been acting." How that's another thing. When people ask, "How are you?" it's not sincere. They don't really want to know, and you're never going to get an honest answer. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of you people, friends and relatives, close friends, or something like that, they probably are sincere. But it's just basically that's why I like to say hi. Like people will say to me, they'll say, "How are you?" And I'll go, "Hi." That's my response. They never get taken aback. Somebody will say, "How are you?" And I'll say, "Hi," and they never say, "But I asked, how are you?" It was the answer. Nobody, nobody says that. Um, you said it, DC Tune Time. You said it. Bah, ah. Okay, when I met Yoko, was it just a chance encounter? No, it was a planned encounter. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and we were at his place, and we thought, wait, you know what? One day we were just thinking, why don't we try to meet Yoko? Let's go to the Dakota and see if we can meet her. And we went there and we met her, and she was really, really charming and nice and sweet and all smiles. She was really terrific. And then we thought that the next day we thought, why don't we go again? So one time, I don't know which day was which. One day I went and I got a photograph of Yoko, and the other day I got an autograph. Actually, I think I got two autographs. Actually, one day I went and got a photo and a signature, and the second day I got another signature. But at that time, in 1994, I was not back into vinyl yet. I didn't even bring. If I had it to do over again, I would have brought the Double Fantasy album with me. I would have had to sign the Double Fantasy album cover. Or a solo Yoko album. Sorry about the hand, folks. Really, would that be rant material or not quite? I guess so. I guess so. Thank you. I'll try to remember that. I'm always looking for rant videos. Let's see. Gary Wright. Yes, Gary Wright passed away, of course, and He played on a few George albums and was in Ringo's All-Star Band. Yeah. Do you like Dreamweaver? Yeah, Dreamweaver was nice. But other than that, not really. Yeah, exactly. How are you? Well, my dog died, and grandma's living with us right now. We're gonna deal with grandma. And, a woman left me and I'm alone and I feel lousy and just found out that I got diagnosed with like, such and such a disease. It's like nobody tells you the truth. Thank you so much, Adam. That's nice of you. Nice of you to say. You love the videos. Yeah. Well, that's why I do them. People like them, you know, and it's always a pleasure to give others pleasure. Oh, you glad that I kept the Joan Jett signed album? Of course, I got the two Joan Jett albums signed by her, and a couple of photographs too. Well, this is you said you heard that the Red and the Blue may be released December 8th. I'm tired. Not nothing against you, but Song 100, but I'm just tired of the rumors. There's nothing out there yet. Wondering why Talk More Talk is taking such a long break. Well, for one thing, Tom Hunyadi has a different schedule now. Used to be able to do the shows Monday, and Monday night, or it was night for him or afternoon for him. So he's changing jobs right now, and he's also moving. He's in the middle of a move. That's one of the reasons. And there's been a lot on everybody's plate. I know Ken Michaels is very busy. Yeah, it's a long break, and we're gonna get it going in October. We're gonna be due back in October. We're looking at mid-October, so you got to wait till like the mid-October. Hopefully, we'll be able to do a show on Ringo's new EP. Yes, indeed, I am in a Joan Jett video. Very quick. If you blink, you'll miss me. But I am in a Joan Jett video. I am in the video for Cherry Bomb, the song Cherry Bomb. It's when and she was at Tower Records in 1985. And I was, I went to see her one of the many, I say many times. I got to see Joan a handful of times. And in the video, you could see me going like this. So yeah, like because the music was being played and I went like that, and they kind of have that in there. And the only way I could tell you to look for it is if you watch the Cherry Bomb video. It's right during you have the guitar solo, and there's a line, "Hey Street Boy." I think that's the words. Right after the guitar solo ends, I go like that. And she's about to sing "Hey Street Boy," etc. Oops. Um, Hi George, am I into heavy metal music with the new bands around? Not really. I made a video where I happened to hear a modern family band called Liliac, and I actually liked that. It was heavy metal, but I didn't think it would last long, you know. Okay, this is a fair question. When is the next Fab Gap? Um, okay, well, the next I did a couple of interviews, which I called Fab Gab, but I think you mean Fab Gab when I have a panel up here and we do an album ranking. We're going to do that. I have an album ranking planned for the next Fab Gab show. We're going to do it, and we're going to find I say album ranking. I should mean song ranking. Pick an album, and we'll rank the songs on that album. I'm going to do that. The problem is the people that some of the people that I want to do the show with are not available yet. A lot of times when you do shows like that, obviously you have to have schedules, that work out. And right now the schedules weren't working out. So when we can all get together, I'm going to do one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have one. At this point, either late September or sometime in October. But in October there'll be another Fab Gab, as you know them, where we kind of rank songs and things. Ah, very good, very good. Brian May, yes, very good. All right. Got 50 people at the moment. Yeah, talking about David Kornblatt says he's famished for the Rubber Soul Deluxe. At this point, I can wait. I really can. Like the song says on there, wait. There's a track on that album called Wait. But yeah, I don't know. I can wait. Me, I'm looking more forward to this some solo stuff announcements. I want, let's hear if the John Lennon estate is going to do a Lennon release or something. Let's see if the Ringo self-titled classic Ringo album is going to get a deluxe 50th anniversary treatment. Okay, folks, don't mind the pause. I'm just waiting for comments. Okay, folks. While I'm waiting for comments, I'll just take a sip of water. Poland Spring. I look at that. I was looking for the Poland Spring, label. There it is, Poland Spring, right? Notice, oh no, this bottle is 100% recycled. I mean, you have to put the fact, this is again, the way the world is today, PC and all that. Let everybody know 100% recycled, big letters, tiny letters, Poland Spring. All right. This here, where is this? Rubber Soul Deluxe with both US and UK versions included. I highly doubt it. I don't think that's necessary personally. I prefer the US version, but all the same, it's not necessary to put the US in there, in my opinion. I don't think this. George, a lot of people agree with you. You say I really do think personally that the Revolver box set, the CD version, is the best. You, you're talking about the new mix, right? You want to hear this? The 2022 Revolver. I listened to it. Things really pissed me off about it. And the most biggest thing that pissed me off about it was the fact that Ringo's cymbal crashes on she said are gone. Or, unless you're wearing headphones. People say, listen to the headphones, listen to the headphones. I don't want to be a slave to headphones when I listen to my music. You shouldn't have to do that to hear them. You should be able to hear them outside. Anyway, and so I discovered I prefer, I'm happy with the original mix of Rubber Soul. Absolutely. Okay, Joe, what was the thought process with the vinyl purge? Sorry about the noise, folks. What was the thought process with the vinyl purge and then recollection of albums in your collection? I just go with the flow. It's a fair question. I go with the flow, and sometimes I have the urge to get rid of like a lot, like 60% of my records, 70%, and then other times I'm like, no, I'm enjoying this. Why? You know. So I'm still purging. There's still some stuff that I have in a pile to get rid of. So there's a happy medium, really. I just go with the flow, really. And I did, I'll be honest with you, even if I have a little egg on my face here, I really did think that I was going to be not going back this time. Um, but I'm being honest with you, folks. It's the best I can do. I'm being honest with you. I changed my mind a lot. Yeah, October's coming, and I have a movie channel. Thank you for reminding me yet again, folks. I mean, not folks, back bacon and beer. I have a movie channel. It's called Mayo's Cinema Rewind. Please subscribe if you haven't. And I'm just, I'm going to do my best to put more content on there. I know I have a video coming up of a gift that I got recently, something related to, horror and television. Let's put it that way, movies. And I'm going to make that video. I still am going to try to do more videos, and with the Halloween season coming up, hopefully more horror stuff for that channel. Uh, I don't remember this at all. Ronald says, I met you briefly last year at the East Rutherford, New Jersey McCartney show. I accidentally hit you with the restroom door as you were charging your phone. Sorry again. You were cool about it. I don't remember it at all, so it didn't upset me that much. Hey, you know what, Ronald? If it wasn't enough for me to make a rant video, some jerk hit me with a door. Couldn't have been that bad. I do remember charging my phone though in the restroom. There was like no other place that we could find an outlet charge with, so I was doing it there. Yeah, well, you see, that's the thing. I like collecting records, well, to listen to as well as just to have. I mean, and then sometimes I manage to resist, the urge to buy. Like yesterday, I had two 1966 albums by Wilson Pickett at the record store. I was going to buy these two Wilson Pickett albums, and I thought I only like one or two songs on them. And but you say that you say this here, you say they're so cool. That's it. Sometimes you just like having the record, and whatever it is that I mean, they're only $8. These Wilson Pickett records were $8 a piece. They weren't really expensive. And sometimes just to have them as part of your collection and, your artwork. Okay, George says, I'm looking forward to the new Rolling Stones CD to come out in October. What about you, Joe? Are you excited about that one? I am now. I didn't care before. As I've said, I never bought Blue and Lonesome, which I heard was a good Stones album of covers, I believe, blues songs. And I never bought Voodoo Lounge. I never bought Bridges to Babylon. I wasn't really interested in this album either. And I didn't care necessarily that Paul McCartney is playing bass on one track. I think it's called Bite Your Head Off. Um, I wasn't going to buy the album just for that. But then I heard the song Angry, the new Stones song. And I like the new Angry song. So I'm suddenly a little interested in the album. Plus, there's something about the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are a good deviation from the Beatles. As much as I love the Beatles, the Stones are like the opposite in a way. They're similar but opposite at the same time. So it's a nice change. Generally speaking, I don't love westerns, but there are some westerns I like. I love Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. There's a movie with Charlton Heston that nobody really knows called Arrowhead that I like. I like High Noon, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Last night there was a movie on Turner Classic Movies that was kind of a western that I'd never seen before, and it was interesting. It had Richard Harris in it, had John Huston in it. I forget the name of it already. Something like Man in the Wilderness, maybe. And I just caught that completely unaware, and it was interesting. I stayed with it. Well, if you're not a Rolling Stones fan, a lot of people wouldn't care about the record. And I got to be honest with you, even a lot of people who like the Rolling Stones, like myself, getting tired with the same old sound, the same old Stone stuff. They started repeating themselves a long time ago, but at the same time, I got to say, there's something that I respect about the Stones being out there and still doing it. Even though it's kind of like, yeah, yeah, the Rolling Stones, they do the same old. There's still something to be said that the fact that they're still doing this for 60 years. It's impressive. I do agree with you. Butch Cassidy is not really, it's more of a buddy movie, you know. Okay, am I going to the Beatle Fest in February? Yeah, Beatle Fest, the Fest for Beatles fans really is having a big show, really big shoe, as Sullivan would say. The weekend of February 9th of 2024 in New York. And I urge everybody to go. I'll definitely be there. I've got my tickets. Well, no, I don't have tickets. Geez, stop. Tickets not on sale yet. I don't have tickets. What I have reservations. And the thing is, because it's in New York, I don't necessarily have to stay overnight. I could just drive back and forth every day. But I decided I want to stay in the hotel. Let's see. Uh, did you watch the new Clint Eastwood Western crime, Macho? I never heard of that. But I did like Unforgiven. I only saw Unforgiven once, many, 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 many years ago, and I thought it was good. I don't remember a hell of a lot of it, but I remember I liked it. Cheers. Okay, Martin says, I love the Stones, but they try to discredit the Beatles. Imitation is the biggest form of flattery. They would probably say satanic in no way is a rip-off of Pepper. I definitely think it was a rip-off, sure. A rip-off is harsh. Maybe it was more like riding the coattails, capitalizing off it. They were influenced by it. Um, I think the Beatles and the Stones were all friends, even though you had moments where John would diss the Stones and Nick or Keith might diss the Beatles. So, yes, I did see Gran Torino. Not only did I see Gran Torino, I own Gran Torino in my collection. I have no interest in Procol Harum's box set. To tell you the truth, I mean, I don't know them. I know I love White as Shade of Pale, but that's just one song. It's a big song, but I'm not interested. But I can appreciate that you think it's the best box set that ever came out that year, 2018. So, alrighty. Uh, Big Mike from the record store seems to have some serious cash. He does. Yeah, I don't know why, but it's none of my business. But the only reason that I'm even indulging this comment, is because he doesn't seem to mind people knowing it. So he seems to flaunt it a little. So Adam says, if I hear a musician put another down, It makes me disrespect the one criticizing, not the criticized one. Well, John Lennon obviously did that to people too, but people criticize John Lennon too. There you go. What is my favorite Beatle bootlegs? Have you noticed some of the funny stuff left off releases? Yeah, right. The middle part when Paul's singing, woke up, fell out of bed, and he says, "Oh shit!" in the middle. Yes. Um, Bootlegs these days are not, they're mostly for nostalgic purposes. I mean, it was fun to have the BBC recordings before the BBC recordings ever really came out legitimately. Still to this day, not all of the BBC recordings that the Beatles did are out, but a lot of them are. You know, it was good to have some of those. There was an album called Broadcasts, which was really the best clear quality BBC recordings at the time. That was a really good bootleg album. And anything when they had out, these obviously from the actual studio sessions, right off the masters, stuff like Unsurpassed Masters, Ultra Rare Tracks. Those came out with the best. And still to this day, even though it's an old bootleg, Five Nights in a Judo Arena, Beatles in Tokyo. That's an old 1975 bootleg or so, and it's still good. Well, they have a lot of different versions on bootleg of the Tokyo '66 concert. Well, there's two concerts, but I'm talking about the one with the Black Suits Tokyo '66 show. Um, and that's always one of the best bootlegs, good sound quality, still is. Firefox, I don't think I saw Firefox. Um, Everyone is mockable, David says. Everyone is mockable. Of course, everybody in the world is mockable. Everybody. The question is, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones and judge not lest ye be judged and stuff like that. Okay, maybe you are an Ozzy fan, or at least you know Ozzy's a Beatles fan. Well, of course, Ozzy. I know Ozzy's a Beatles fan. He met Paul McCartney at didn't try to meet him. He did meet him at the Howard Stern show when Paul was on. I watched a little bit of the Osbournes. I thought I mean, I don't really know Ozzy stuff that well. I know some Black Sabbath. I think he's a bit of a goofball, a lovable goofball, kind of like it looks like his because of the drugs, his brain's been fried 1,000 times. So he's kind of like funny like that. Favorite Ringo albums besides Ringo and Time Takes Time. Among my favorite Ringo albums are Ringo, Time Takes Time, What's My Name, Goodnight Vienna, Vertical Man, Stop and Smell the Roses, and Why Not. Those are like the first Ringo albums that come to mind for me. So there you go. And there's other albums too that I like Ringo's Bad Boy album, '78. Yep. Bad Boy, the album, gets a bad reputation because it followed Ringo the Fourth album and wrote a review of those kind of like the latest '70s. It kind of gets lumped in there, but I think Bad Boy is underrated. I think that's Ringo's most underrated album, Bad Boy. No comedy is about making fun of those in power. One of the things to have a laugh about. I don't know, making fun of people in power. It used to be an even street, even Steven. Now, let's just say like late night talk shows and things like that. They only make fun of one type of power figure. They don't make fun of both types, or if you know what I mean. It has to be fair across the board. They don't do that. I think you have it the other way around. You say Ozzy was freaked out by Paul. I think if anything, Paul was freaked out by Ozzy. Well, this has been my experience for sure. Absolutely. When the cameras are rolling, Paul absolutely is going to sign for anybody with the cameras rolling. I have it on firsthand experience that he does not, he didn't sign when the cameras were not rolling. But let's not misconstrue that to say that Paul never, ever, ever signs unless there's a camera on him. That's crazy. Of course, Paul likes to sign for people too, or used to. I don't know. But anyway, so it's not just about having the camera on. All right, folks. Just a reminder again that I'm going to be doing the next show like this on Saturday. That's right. You're going to get two this week, today and Saturday. Saturday, catch up with Mayo live. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back home in my Beatles room. Saturday, 3 p.m. All right. Okay. Okay. You wonder, does Ringo get many autograph requests? Oh, yes. Paul said Ringo has a right not to sign. Let's highlight this one. Yeah, well, every celebrity has a right not to sign. They don't have to sign by law, but there's a certain ethics thing. And I really am from the old school. Without us, there wouldn't be you. So I really believe that. If you say like a Ringo has said, look, I've signed enough. He said that in 2008, I think. I think I've done enough, he said, and he has. However, there's old new generations of fans. There are people right here that watch my channel that are younger fans. What if a 16-year-old fan runs into Ringo and said, Ringo, can I have your autograph? Oh, I don't sign anymore. Peace and love. It's like, I don't get that. Are there any Beatles conventions anymore? Sure, there are. There's the Fest for Beatles fans in New York and Chicago. If you want to go, you can go every August in Chicago. They have a fest, and they also have the New Jersey or New York area. This year it's February in New York. And then there's other ones. There's something called Fab Fest. I think that's every July, summer. Fab Fest. And there's lots of stuff. I don't agree with this. I've never liked that. I remember one time I was at a horror convention, and Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger, was at the horror convention. There was a mob of line of people to see him, and I was on the line. And he was signing autographs, and he had to leave. And he said, "Everybody, look." He goes, "Guys, I'm sorry, I have to leave, but I have a stack here. I swear to God, guys, I signed them this morning in the hotel. They're real, folks. You can take them." So I got one of those. I didn't want one of those, even though he signed them supposedly for real. I believe he did. He signed them in the hotel that morning. But it's different from getting it in person. Always different getting it in person. You saw a YouTube video of Howard Stern being very disrespectful of Paul. I don't know which one in particular you're talking about, David. But as I say, that's it's come to the point now where Paul and Howard have known each other for a long time now. I think since 2001, they've known each other now 22 years. We've been together a number of times on the show. I think Paul understands Howard's humor. I don't. I think you know. David says, when you pass 80, life means something different. Well, in 2008, Ringo was not 80 yet. was 68. Yeah, this is another thing. I'm sorry, I don't go by that too. You say Paul and Ringo don't want to sign because their autograph has value. They don't want people making money off them on eBay. I hate that attitude. I don't sympathize with a celebrity at all. Because even though there's some guys out there that are dealers, maybe they want to take your signature and make money, you got to remember every time a dealer sells your signature, it winds up in the hands of a true fan who appreciates it. Sometimes a kid, maybe a little kid, you know. Maybe their dad buys it for their kid's birthday. The kid's overjoyed. So even when dealers sell your autograph, it's winding up in the hands of somebody that appreciates it. Okay, that's number one. And number two, you got enough money anyway. You got enough money. You got millions of billions of dollars. You got enough money. What do you care if some dealer's making a little bit, getting a couple of scurrying around and get a couple of nuts here and there. And lastly, but not least, what about the people who don't sell your autograph? What about people, like this? I saw a video of Ringo. You know, he's signing autographs. And he goes, right, going right on eBay. They'll be right on eBay. And I'm thinking, not everybody who gets an autograph from Ringo is going to be looking to pawn it off on eBay. That's kind of like prejudicial. You're prejudging people. You're saying that everybody who gets my autograph is looking to sell it and make a money. Not everybody. God knows I wouldn't. So it's terrible. It's a terrible mindset. But you know what? It all goes. You know how much I hate today's world, the 21st century, all the ugliness in it. Well, that's part of it. Autographs are a thing of the past too. And even when celebrities sign, sometimes now you'll look, it'll be like somebody like Taylor. I don't know about Taylor Swift. I don't want to name names, but I don't know if it's Taylor Swift. But I mean, um, popular stars of today, they just go man, man. It's like a line, man. Doesn't even look like a name. Autographs are better than movies, music, comic books, everything. That's my feeling. Okay, let's see where we're at. Okay, I love Howard bringing big celebs down. Yeah, Howard Stern's an asshole. I'll tell you. Okay, let me put it this way. I was a Howard Stern fan. I discovered Howard around 1984, 1985. By 1985, I was a big Howard fan. I listened to his show every day. And I continued to enjoy his show into the early 90s. But these days, he's just a piece of garbage. And I don't want to, what words can I use to describe him? The problem with him is Howard Stern has become everything he used to hate, everything he used to despise. You know, and he's way too PC. And I mean, and I don't know how to word this. He's way too much he's a very superstitious guy. Let's put it that. He's a very superstitious guy, and he's drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't like Howard at all anymore. Yeah, yeah, right. Ringo says, "Oh, is my autograph's just going to go on eBay." So you're penalizing the good people because of some rotten apples, and that's not right. So I have a real problem with celebrities not signing autographs. A real problem. But like I say, that's not up to me. If you ever meet me, you want my autograph, I'll give it to you. No, there was one person, one of my regular viewers, actually asked me to mail him an autograph, and I did that. But I understand that, people get, I don't want to get into this whole thing because you always have people that agree with me, and you have people on the other side that sympathize with the celebrity and saying they have no right. I'm no right. I'm saying they're not right. They have no obligation to you, they say. I disagree. The old celebrities of the past, a lot of them knew without I would be nothing without you people, you know. Exactly. Howard Stern turned into Don Imus. Absolutely. He used to make fun of Imus when Imus was really old and how he was still looking. He should know when to retire. Same thing with Howard. Wow, look at this. I definitely have you sign a copy of the Beatles' second album. I always wonder, should I sign it Joe Mayo or me, Mr. Mayo? I really wonder. I don't expect people to ask me for my autograph, but there have been a lot of people that like to take photos with me, and that's nice. You know, I've taken a lot of photos, but I can't remember how many photos. Wow. I prefer photos too with somebody, but Joe, me, Mister, yeah, sign him like that. Joe, me, Mister Mayo. 14. Yeah, I'm gonna hit. I have like right now. I have 13,976. I'm about 20, 25 away from the 14,000. Yeah. But like I said, there are people that have a million subs. There's people that have about 50K, 100K. I used to think like 13, 14K was a lot. It's not really anymore. No, the one day where I don't do the walking is when I come here. I walk every day except when I come here. Although out there on the town, very nice out there. You know, Jay Leno. I don't have any feelings, positive or negative, towards Jay Leno. I mean, I don't know. He always seemed like a decent enough guy to me, but I don't know. What's my favorite autograph with a story? Oh man, Ralph, I must have a bunch of them, but why can't I think of one? Um, well, the Charlton Heston one is a good one. When I got Charlton Heston's autograph, I went. Somebody told me. I called up NBC Studios. Charlton Heston was going to be doing an interview, and I asked him, the day before? I said, "Is the interview live or taped?" He said, "No, it's pre-taped because they didn't want me to come down." I don't even know why I asked him. He wasn't going to tell me the truth. So I went down there, uh, in person, and sure enough, he was there. But I always tell a story like I don't know how to do this. Let's say this is an elevator bank. This is the elevators bank, the middle of NBC, and I was waiting over here, and I waited and waited. I didn't see Charlton Heston, so I said, "Well, I guess that's it." So I crossed over this way and went over here. I was making a phone call because they didn't have cell phones, so I made a payphone call. And as I was over here making my call, I see him come out and he turns this way. If I had waited over here, I would have missed him because he came out and he turned this way and went out. I never would have saw him anyway, and it was fantastic. And there he was, and I said, Mr. Heston, please, it's so nice to meet you, man. He shook my hand first. First, he did this, he waved like that. Then he reached. I said, "Nice to meet you." He reached out and he shook my hand. And then I said, "Can I have your autograph?" He said, "Sure." And he signed it. And he asked me, "What's your name?" I love that. He even asked me what my name was. He didn't have to personalize it. It was the greatest thing. Anyway, there's other stories too, of course, but comparison is the thief of joy, though. Hey, Beetle Babe. No, I can appreciate this, Martin. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, when you're as famous as Paul McCartney is, everybody you see wants a photograph, and you can't get a photograph or autograph to every person. You wouldn't even be able you wouldn't be able to do anything else. No, I understand that. I had a little experience like that when I was at the Fest for Beatles fans one time. I remember I hadn't had any lunch, and everybody was asking for a photo with me. Every time I tried to take a bite of my sandwich, I was like, "Oh, okay, snap." Oh, can I have the pic, Mr. Mayo? Can I have a picture? Sure. I didn't mind because it's new to me. It's a new thing, and I'm not a big star like Paul McCartney or Ringo or somebody. But it was nice. But I can imagine what they go through. I just couldn't. I just remember chuckling to myself. That must be. I mean, I'm like this. I can imagine it from Paul McCartney. Can you imagine? Yeah, here's an example here. Mr. Beast has 184 million subscribers, so 14K. I mean, is nice, but do I have a good stereo? Yes, I do. The problem is it's a pretty good stereo, just that I can't play it as loud as I like here in this apartment that I'm in. Well, if I much like David Letterman better than Jay Leno. If I had to pick between the two, I'm more of a Letterman guy. Did you carry a mailbag when you walked as a mailman, or did you just drive a truck? I did both. I drove a truck, got to the street, put the mailbag on, and pounded the pavement. My last point on the matter: you are a true fan and deserve a picture and autograph. Well, thank you, Martin. I think so too. I mean, I don't mean to sound conceited, but I mean, you obviously know what a big fan I am of the Beatles and Paul and Ringo's solo career. I'm always defending Ringo. Oh, yeah, I think so. Ever seen photos of George in America in '63? Yes. Yeah. Well, they were unknown. They went over in 1963. I don't know if George went over to visit his sister, Louise. And there's a great photo with George and the family. And yeah, nobody knows who George was in 1963. Before that's fantastic when you think of how worldwide phenomenal they would become. A short time later. You have a YouTube channel? Wait a minute. You're not on camera, are you? I didn't know that if that's the case. I don't know if you're kidding. What's going on, folks? What's going on? Thanks for joining me. What's on your so-called minds? Don't forget the next live catch up with Mayo is going to be Saturday at home in my Beatles room at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ah, well, you got Beetle Babe going around. Beetle Babe, I saw you had a public message or something. People were being nasty about telling you what kind of content to make. Yeah, he's probably kidding around, pretty kidding around. Well, it depends how much effort you're going to put into it. I mean, with this channel, I try to put one video up every 24 hours, and that's not easy. You don't always have material. There you go. Okay, someone was being super crazy. I hope you might be able to join us on Tuesday. I should mention that too, folks, on my movie channel. That's every Tuesday night on my movie channel, which is Mayo's Cinema Rewind. I have a chat like this, but with other people, and we discuss hopefully movies and television. Sometimes Beetle Babe joins us. So there you go. What is my favorite memory of Don? Well, one that comes to mind, which is on camera actually. I was in the store one time, and he was saying, maybe I can get donations by taking off my shirt. Here, take off my shirt. And I said, no, don't do that. And he took off his shirt. He was showing because he has like a hump on his back, and he was showing it. And he turns to the camera and he goes, Igor needs aid. Now, I mean, that was his choice. I mean, he was just being humorous. He has a good sense of humor, Don. He doesn't mind, you know. And I think he got some money sent to the store for that, which so I helped Don. That's one of my favorite Don memories. Do I think that Paul puts down Michael Jackson by imitating his voice? Not sure he's very fond of him. Well, it's a twofold answer. I think in the early days, um, it wasn't really a put down. I think a lot of times I'll do that. I'll say, I saw Don at the record store, and Don said, "Hey, you got any money for me?" You just go into the voice. You're not necessarily making fun of the person. But now, I know after the fact, he got really sore about I think Michael Jackson taking the Beatles songs. Sharp corners, no ring wear, no spindle wear either. Yeah, Don has a good sense of humor given his situation, and no, Don has not passed away. Repeat, Don has not passed away. He's got a share of health problems, and he's going to doctors here and there. But well, the thing about this, you say Paul was happy to use Michael Jackson's popularity like he did Kanye's and others. You have to remember a couple of things. First of all, according to Paul, anyway, Michael Jackson contacted Paul. Michael Jackson called Paul and asked and said, "Hey, Paul, let's make some hits." So supposedly it was Paul, not Paul, but Michael Jackson that initiated the meeting. And you got to remember when they did those songs like that putrid song, "The Girl Is Mine," and stuff like that. That was on the Thriller album. He hadn't had Thriller yet. Thriller, I mean, Michael Jackson was already popular with Off the Wall and things like that, but he hadn't had the Thriller album yet. It was their meeting, that kind of like wound up to be on Thriller. Do I still have nightmares over the Kanye West Paul? Well, I never had a single nightmare over the collaboration between Kanye and Paul. But I think you just mean, you know, generally speaking, that was a nightmare, not literally. But what's the good word, folks? I'm sorry, Darren. I'm not in a place right now where I could sing. You don't want to hear me sing anyway, so people will lose their breakfast or lunch or dinner, depending on where you're from right now. Yeah, well, this is a good point, Martin. I absolutely don't. A lot of Paul fans think Paul had a number one with Kanye West, whatever song it was. Cut me, it was not cut me some slack. What the hell was it? I can't even remember the name of it. But it's not a number one. It's like saying that Billy Preston had a number one song because he plays, on plays keyboards on Get Back. It's not number one. So was Don ever angry at me? Yeah, he was angry. He got angry at me and Joe. He got angry at Joe. I think he even got angry at Corey once. Nobody gets angry at Corey. Nobody gets mad at him. Oh, you're going for a mall walk? Seriously? Oh, good for you. Good for you. I don't know that there ever was going to be a McCartney and Dylan collaboration. Whenever somebody asks me who's the number one person that you'd like to see Paul McCartney collaborate with, I always say Bob Dylan. I'm surprised it never happened. Hello, Noah. Do I think the Red and the Blue albums will be announced next month? I think it's got to be announced very soon. If not before September's out, then definitely in early October. It's got to be announced soon. Corey still works at the store. He just prefers not to be in the videos, but he doesn't mind a little bit. I mean, I have him. He doesn't mind being in the videos a little bit. He just doesn't want to be the main source, the video. I didn't know this. Michael Jackson's daughter is gorgeous. She's a massive Beatles and John Lennon fan. I have a great set of 30 Universal Monster movies on DVD. Once again, don't forget to join my movie channel called Mayo's Cinema Rewind. And we're going to be doing, I was talking about this before. I don't think I ever finished it really, the time and everything. We're going to be doing on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night pretty much, we do a movie discussion like this, but just movies and television shows too. Movies and television over at Mayo Cinema Rewind. The time is around 7:15 p.m. 7:15 p.m. Eastern over on the movie channel. Yeah, good point, Beetle Barb. Beetle Barb. We say Beetle Barb. Yeah, there's only so many more months before the holiday buying season. The announcement must be coming soon. Check out Beetle Babe's channel if you like nail polish and makeup and the Flintstones. And I'm trying to think what else she does. Um, movie reviews. What is my favorite Bela Lugosi movie? That is tough. It's hard to say because I like movies with Bela Lugosi. Like my favorite Bela Lugosi movie, a movie that has Bela Lugosi in them, is the movie Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. He plays the Frankenstein monster, but that's not Bela's shining achievement. My favorite Bela Lugosi movie for his performance are um, Son of Frankenstein. He plays Igor, and also The Raven. I think those are my two favorite Lugosi performances: The Raven and also Son of Frankenstein. Those Universal monster films were considered B films. I've always been more of a fan of the old B movies, the 30s and 40s. Yeah, I like the B films too, a lot of times, even better. I don't know who you mean, Martin. You're talking about two guys, the videos that work together looking for records. Are they sellers or just collect? You're talking about Julio and Richie? Yeah, somebody here says Julio and Richie. If you're talking about Julio and Richie, they're friends. They're good friends. They've been friends for many, 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 many years. And no, they're just collectors. They like record collecting. I keep telling Julio he's got to get himself a YouTube channel, but he won't. He's just, yeah, maybe one of these days, and he doesn't. It's a shame. Sorry about that. Yes, of course, you're right. The Black Cat. I prefer the Raven to the Black Cat, actually. I mean, for Lugosi purposes, he plays a good evil guy there. The Black Cat is also a great Lugosi Carlo. Yes, I agree. Home, I have no home. Despised, treated like an animal. But I will show the world that I can be its master. Yeah. Yeah, I got to get the movie channel going, folks. I see that all the time. The movie channel has got to go. I mean, got to go, not go. This guy, I don't mean that. I mean, it's got to go. It's got to be. Got to get the movie channel going, man. I have a couple of ideas too. I have a couple more video ideas, and I just, yeah, I gotta do it. I posted a Rare 50 single once on Instagram, and it got a like off a guy. I noticed the profile pic, and it was Julio. Yeah, Julio's a good guy. That's for damn sure. Need some water now. I just noticed I haven't seen Henry here, Henry Lemoyne. Now, Henry, I don't know, Henry, I don't know if you know, but I asked Henry not to be in the movie channel chats. So I kind of blocked him from there. I said, look, because it goes off tangent too much and things. But I said, you're always welcome here. And he probably figures, well, if he's going to block me from there, I thumb my nose at him. I'm not coming here either. That's your choice. Yeah, funny. It's funny there, babe. You were a riot. But, it's his choice. If he wants to say, screw you, I'm not going either, I'll survive. But you're welcome here. You're welcome. I'm not going to pretend I don't want you here. Am I going to see the new Exorcist film? Yeah, probably. We're desperate for some new movie to see. And I honestly kind of don't. I don't expect a damn thing from that new Exorcist. I've seen that they show you so much of there's two young girls that are possessed this time. They don't even look that scary. And I don't know what the heck they think. Who's my favorite actor who played Frankenstein and my favorite movie? Well, the monster. Boris Karloff, of course, I guess. And I guess, wow, it's tough. I mean, it's funny when you say favorite movie. It's got to be Bride of Frankenstein, even though, yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that because in a way, it's kind of a comedy, a half of a comedy, that movie. I like Son of Frankenstein, but I also like Glenn Strange as the monster. It's funny. That's funny that you ask me my favorite Frankenstein movie, and I don't know what to say because it's not the original Frankenstein. The Bride of Frankenstein, yeah, but it's a comedy. Son of Frankenstein is one of my favorites, but it's a little too long. Ghost of Frankenstein is one of my favorites. But in Ghost of Frankenstein, Lon Chaney Jr. plays the monster, and it goes on and on and on. There's nothing as great as movie theater popcorn with extra butter. Do you get to the movies much? I don't know. I don't go to the movies much. I remember in the 1970s, I went all the time. Even in the 1980s, I used to go to a movie, at least one movie a week. I went to see at least 50, 60 new movies or more, you know. And I used to think that one day when I retire, that would leave me free to go to the movies every day. I used to think I'll go to the movies every day when I'm retired. There's nothing I want to see, nothing. And now that I'm retired, so that's a damn shame. Um, as far as popcorn, it's funny you should say that. I went to see American Graffiti recently. They brought back American Graffiti in the theaters for its 50th anniversary. And for the first time in ages, I got popcorn with butter. I usually don't eat anything. I don't, when I go to a movie, I'm there to watch the movie. I don't want there to be eating stuff. But I did get popcorn because of the American Graffiti movie. David, I gotta say, you keep bringing up things about The Shining. I will not talk about The Shining. I don't like The Shining. I don't think it's so great. I don't know what everybody talks about. You keep asking me Shining questions. I just want you to know, by me not addressing your questions on The Shining, that doesn't mean I'm trying to diss you or anything. I just don't really care. This is a prediction. Henry will do a woodland goblet, stay away for a while, lick his wounds, then return. I don't know. No, I gotta say, Beetle Barb, I have not seen American Horror Story. Young Frankenstein, so out of control. I'm not sure. Young Frankenstein's good, but it kind of insulted a lot of the old classic Frankenstein movies. Okay, hello, Matthew Smith. Hey, Matthew. This morning was the first time I had to put on a coat. Well, not a coat, but a jacket. Little nippy out there. The lousy, stinking cold weather's coming in. But I'll tell you this every time that I see you. I've said this. Now, I respect you when you say you don't like summer because you're in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's really hot there, extra hot there. Not that it doesn't get that hot here, but anyway, uh, it's been 3 years since the last archive release of Paul. You think he's done with them? No, I don't. Everybody thinks so. Oh, forget it. That's it. No more archives. I guess it's finished. Well, two things. The first thing, well, one thing. Um, Paul did. It does say in the tour book, the latest tour book of Paul, on the bottom, the archive series will continue, or something like that. More coming, and that's going back a couple of years now. I just think it's just a matter of time. I think they'll be back. At the very least, I think he's gonna do the Wings albums. I expect him to do London Town and Back to the Egg at the very least. After that, I'm not so sure how far it's going to go after that. I hope he does every album. I want every single Paul album to get the full archive treatment. Okay, I know this guy Heath from Serial at Midnight. You say he's going to sleeves? Oh, going to sleeves for part of his movie collection. You see, he's going to put them in sleeves. He says his movie collection is taking over his house. Well, it's ridiculous. I got to be honest with you. I don't watch the channel very much, but I know who he is. And I think what happens at Serial at Midnight is that he's very big, he's very famous, he's very popular. So all the companies send him tons and tons of movies. I think it gets a little ridiculous after a while. I do, honestly. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't want to watch 75% of the things that they thrust on him. I bet you. I don't know him well, Heath, but I'm guessing that that's the situation. I just saw him like, oh wow, look at this Western series I got. I got this new Western series. There's like you're not gonna watch that all the way through, you know. And neither do I. I mean, I'm not gonna watch half what I got. Okay. Only a handful of movies out each year that I have any interest in. Wish it was like the old days with new movies to look forward to every week. You said it, brother. You said it. I really wish that was the case, man. Um, I used to love, man. I have so many movies I wanted to see. I couldn't keep up with them. So many movies I wanted to see. It's done. We're finished. Over. Mark Lewison is getting old. He must be working on the last two books together. Yeah, he did that wonderful book, which I highly recommend that people fan tune in. The first series of the Beatles books, and it is getting. I gotta tell you, Mark Lewis, man, I love your first book. It's getting ridiculous now. You gotta put the second one out. And I always think to myself, at this point, he's waited so long. If he could somehow get it out by the end of 2024, the next one, it would be good. Because 2024 is the 60th anniversary of the Beatles in America, and Hard Day's Night and all that, and that's the next chapter. That's the next book. So it would be perfect timing to coincide with that anniversary. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Look, it's not over yet. We're up to September 17th. There's still a possibility November or December we'll get some stuff. But yeah, I don't know what's going on either. It's crazy. It's crazy, especially the Harrison State. Okay, the microphone should be fixed. That happens from time to time, and I thank you for telling me. The only problem is I don't mind fixing the microphone. I have this, I have these earbuds, and I have to take this. If I put this jack in the side, plug and then unplug, the dialogue gets better. So I don't know how much of what I said was garbled. Unfortunately, that's the only bad thing about it. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I don't mind. Like I say, I don't mind watching movies by streaming or something. But if I actually comes to a movie that I like and I feel that I want to own, then I have to buy a physical copy. I've never thought anything of Clint Eastwood, to tell you that. I'm not a Clint Eastwood guy. I don't dislike Clint Eastwood, and I don't love Clint Eastwood. I mean, I just don't see what the big deal is with him. Although I guess a lot of people do. Okay, you had no plans to, but now you think you'll buy the new Rolling Stones album. The last one, Big Bang, whatever, was lousy, but might give this. Well, that's right, a bigger bang, right? I forgot about that. I remember Voodoo Lounge, Bridges to Babylon, and a bigger bang, and I don't have any of them. The last album I have is Steel Wheels. Julian is going to be on Bill Maher's podcast today or tomorrow. Wow, that's interesting. Of all things, that's bizarre. Theaters don't show films anymore. I know, right? Right, Mick. These days they're called. They don't show films; they show digitals, right? Digitals really is what it is. If you think about it that way, right? I'm going to wrap this up now, folks. It's getting to the point where I got to wrap up soon. I have a little bit more time, but we're going to have to get ready to wrap soon. So I did like well, the Monkeys album I like, was it the last one? Good Times. I did like that album. Beach Boys. I, I couldn't care less about the Beach Boys. Anything after like 66 or whatever it is. Yeah, Good Times wasn't the last album. Oh, wait a minute. What about the Christmas album? Oh, I don't know. But well, a lot of stuff needs a deluxe edition. Forget about Cloud Nine. What about Living in the Material World? This is the 50th anniversary of Living in the Material World. Put the damn thing out. I don't understand that. Okay. I'm gonna go now, folks, because I gotta pack this stuff up. Maybe go to the restroom. Get ready to get out of here. We'll be getting out of here in 20 minutes. So thank you all for being here. There's gonna be times again. I found out today that I'm not gonna be back here in this doing the morning show here at this location till I think it was October 15th or October 14th, something like that. So luckily, until that time, everything I do here with this particular show, Catch Up with Mayo, will be done at home in my regular uh, Beatles room. Okay. And that's going to be the next show will be this coming Saturday. You don't even have to wait a week. This coming Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here. Okay. So 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll see a lot of you at home and some other people too. And we're saying goodbye, watching the comments. All right, everybody. Save your questions for next time. Take it easy. See ya.